I'm fine.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV. I'm out here in Saudi Arabia, delighted to be joined by Sonny Edwards himself. Sonny, it's always good to see you, especially out here in Saudi Arabia. You're here to support your good friend, one of your best friends in Lyndon Arthur. But first and foremost, what a fight it was last week. And obviously you can see the injury still on your face, and there was a bad injury to your eye. So how's that healing up?
Yeah, I mean, it's only been a few days, but I feel like the swelling's mostly gone down. I look like I'm dressed for Halloween, don't I? You know what I mean?
At Christmas time.
At Christmas time. But nah, yeah, all good. I got a fracture in my orbital in the second round of the fight. Blurred my vision. For me, that kind of changed the way I had to fight because I couldn't really see him as much as I wanted to. Well, actually, I could see two of them, which is a problem in itself. But yeah, happy, healthy, a little bit richer.
Well, that's the main thing, obviously. I do want to touch about the reason why you're out here in Saudi Arabia, but just to stay on last week, is I said to you off camera that we've seen Sonny Edwards loads of your fights and the way you fight, but I think last week you showed a different side of you and you showed that you've got balls. You can stand in the pocket and trade if you want to. Obviously you don't want to do that in most of your fights, but having the injury, getting knocked down, getting back up again with the knockdown, and even trading with somebody like Bam, who's obviously known as a hard hitter. You showed balls last week. Are you happy with the fact that you've showed a different side of your game?
I feel like it's something that people around me knew I didn't need to show. Like, I've always had a lot of heart, and not only that, I love fighting. Believe it or not, the getting in and boxing and moving, like, is a little bit frustrating for me. I know it's what I do, and I can stand people on the head and win over and over again doing that, but at the same time, it's not actually the way I like fighting. If you come and watch me spar, it's just a scrap every single time, 10, 12 rounds, don't matter who's in the ring with me, don't matter how much bigger they are than me. And that's been for years now, really. I showed it. Obviously, I didn't get the win, but I kind of had to fight like that just because I couldn't see the range, I couldn't see when he was in, I couldn't see the usual tells that I see on someone, and unfortunately, for me, it weren't anything that he was really doing, so it's kind of a hard sell for me. I feel like I've been hit with loads of shots. He even hit me with 200 shots after he landed the jab that caused this. For me, it was just like one of those freak shots that caused a freak injury that kind of derailed the path of the fight. But that is what it is. Like, you got to play the cards you're dealt. But yeah, I decided about halfway through, near the end of the second round, that I couldn't gauge the range. So every time he threw, I threw back. It was the only thing I had. The only way I knew he would be in front of me is when he was throwing. So that's kind of what I did. The thing is, and I actually enjoyed it. Like, genuinely enjoyed the fight. Genuinely enjoyed the whole build-up, the promotion, even like the reaction. Like, I feel like every single time I've ever had a fight before, there's always probably been something bigger in the world of boxing happening that day. I feel like when I boxed Bam, the kind of world stopped and watched it. Well, the world of boxing anyway. And I feel like from the reaction of the fight, coming here and trainers from all sides of the world coming over and speaking to me and fighters, etc., saying about the fight. Like, I didn't expect that many people to have watched it, but I think we built the fight quite well. We promoted the fight quite well, and I come through watching my brother and the max sort of promotion he got from Eddie at the time. Remember, every fight was on the sky, title shot straight away, etc. And flyweight boxing still then was, for a certain amount of money, hidden away on the undercards of big fights, and sometimes like the second fight on live broadcast, defending a world title or fighting for a world title, etc. So I know what flyweight boxing used to be, and I know what flyweight boxing is now, and but maybe it's the narcissist in me talking, but I feel like I'm a big part of that, and I feel like I've been a big part of that, constantly doing more than everyone else is willing to do, constantly saying more, going to more shows, commentating. I'm in the corner training fighters, I'm managing fighters, getting them contract with big promoters. Like, I'm doing a bit of everything already, naturally, because I enjoy what I do. So, I might have lost my fight, but I don't feel like my boxing position has been weakened. I feel like, if anything, it's taken massive strides. And as my promoter Eddie Hearn knows, and my team know, win, lose or draw, I will fight anyone. So when we go back and sit down, it's whoever they want me in the ring next with, I'll go, because whoever the promoter wants you to fight is usually the biggest fight for the biggest event that they can promote. So that's what I want. So, it should be quite easy to keep going. I feel like I'm by far the biggest name around the light flyweight divisions. Obviously Bam moving up, great fighter, but yeah, I feel like I'm the guy here, and I still will be. And not only that, I feel like when my name's on an event, people are going to be more and more interested.
Sonny, what I will say, I'm going to Lyndon Arthur now because you've done loads of interviews about your fight last week. But for me, as a boxing fan, thank you for that, because that was a great fight for me to watch at home. And obviously, you showed the boxing world that even though you can box, you've got heart as well and balls of steel. But there is a reason why you're here in Saudi Arabia, is your good friend Lyndon Arthur's up against it. Probably the toughest fight in terms of upsets. If there's going to be a big upset, it's going to be Lyndon against Dimitri Bivol, and it's going to be a tough ask for Lyndon. But how do you see him faring against somebody like Dimitri Bivol?
Take it back about 2 weeks ago, just before my fight, maybe a bit less than that. Me and Lyndon was on the phone, and we both had our debut on the same day. We come off GB together, was on GB the team together. That's how we really met and got close. And when we turned pro, I had my debut in Spain, he had his debut in a small hall in Manchester. We both probably earned together about £1,500, you know what I mean? If we put our money together. You know what I mean? So where we've come from, what people thought we was going to do and capable of doing, we've far exceeded it. So I'm so happy and so proud of him just for being a part of this event. Obviously, he's going up against the number one in the division, Bivol, who's got great wins on his record and shown a pretty much non-stop conveyor belt of success. So of course Lyndon's up against it, he knows that, but we're fighters, 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, you know what I mean? We've all got the same. So yeah, I'll be there in his corner, putting the spit bucket in, and yeah, Lyndon can hurt anyone. At his weight, Lyndon hits hard enough to hurt anyone at any time of the fight. Even when it looks like he's getting punched in, even when it looks like he's tired, he always stays dangerous because he's genuinely heavy-handed. He knows he's up against it, but that's why we're here, you know, to upset the apple cart. And unifications, like if I can't get unified, my brother Lyndon can, do you know what I mean?
You said that about he can bang and he can whack, Lyndon, but I think a lot is made of Lyndon's jab in this fight. I think that's, a lot of people are saying that's probably the key to winning this fight, is his jab, because Bivol's got a great jab also, so this might be a battle of the jabs. But how do you think it's more Lyndon putting it on Bivol and trying to hurt him, or use his jab a little bit more and try and keep him at range?
No, I would like Lyndon to frustrate Bivol. I would like Lyndon to make the fight sort of as boring as possible until it catches fire. I think that's the way to beat Bivol. Make him a bit bored, make him start forcing it, make him do things he's not used to doing, you know, stepping in, throwing him first. Because if you just walk into him and let him box, you're going to be getting outboxed to death no matter who you are. He's that good at boxing, so yeah, Lyndon's got a terrific jab, one of the best in the world, definitely. Especially when he lets it go, when he finds his target. It's sharp, it's precise, it's powerful. But in this fight, I feel like, you know, making Bivol make a mistake and landing heavy will be the best way to start turning the tide. Because, like I said, Bivol is as good of a fighter as you're going to get.
Listen, obviously, you could probably pick the favourites on the card. Although they're good fights, you could probably go down the card, run down the running order, and pick a favourite in the fight and whatnot. But you, as a boxing fan,
the first name.
Exactly.
The first name of everyone.
exactly. But that being said, Sonny, can you see an upset on the card?
Of course. We wouldn't be here otherwise. Like, we're competitive people. We don't just come for pay. We don't just come to turn up. Like, we genuinely believe on our days we can beat anyone over and over again. We believe that, because at the end of the day, if a fight kicks off in the street and someone comes after, you ain't even got the choice to be choosing. So when we get in a fight with someone that weighs the same as us, of course we think we can win. And Lyndon's the same. He knows up against it. He knows Bivol's a great fighter, but Lyndon's a great fighter. You know what I mean? I'd be a world champion for a reason. Dug in when he's had to, can be hurt, get back up, come out and take the kid apart. So yeah, like, Lyndon's here with every bit of belief and also every bit of gratitude, just like I experienced in my last week, that we've gone from fighting for less than £1,000 pretty much on small halls for our debut, no one really pushing us, no one really believing in us too much, and forcing our way into the biggest events of boxing, weekends after each other on the same platform. So, you know, that gratitude is the most powerful human emotion, I believe, and the most life-changing. So he's grateful he's here, he's grateful to be a part of it, and he knows he's up against it, and he knows that to win he's got to bring the best out of himself. What's Bivol's mindset going into this? Is Bivol thinking it's just an easy walkover? Is he going to come thinking, I didn't really need to train that much? We don't know. And that's what makes it such an entertaining, exciting fight. Of course, Bivol is the number one in the world. Pound for pound, for me, he's up there, like top 5. So, of course, Lyndon's up against it, but we don't say no to fights. We haven't got it.
Real fights only.
We haven't got it in us to say no. Because win, lose or draw, yeah, what would you rather be a part of? Easy fights when you're guaranteed to win, hand-picked opponent just so you can walk around as some faux pas champion, or double down, bet on yourself and go in there in the biggest events, the biggest fights, and go see how good you are. You find out in the ring. A boxing fight is the most honest conversation two men can have.
Well, that's a good way of putting it, Sonny. And that being said, I want to touch, because I think it's about to start very, very soon, I want to touch on the two main events at the top there, Wilder, Parker and Joshua and Otto. They're the two fights, I know as a boxing fan yourself, you want to see Joshua against Wilder, because I think that's the most entertaining fight in world boxing at this moment. I think it's a 4-round fight. It's going to set fire at one stage. But can you see an upset in that? And sort of pivot on that question as well. Who has the toughest fight, Wilder or Joshua?
I think Wyland right now has probably got more left than Parker. I think Parker a few years ago was probably more dangerous than he is now. And I think maybe size-wise for Wilder, Parker's quite a good matchup for him, maybe, I'm not sure. But I do think Wyland's quite a live underdog. Definitely, if people are writing him off, I don't know why. I thought he pushed Tyson Fury when they fought. I think he gave him a really hard time. Obviously, his eye was cut quite bad, and it probably affected how that fight went a little bit. But he showed that he's game. He showed that he's tough, that he can take a shot and keep coming forward. So I think Joshua's got to be switched on, and I think Wilder's got to be switched on. It's heavyweight boxing and world level heavyweight boxing as well. They've not just got absolute nobodies like Parker, former world champion, been mixing it, and Wyland, we've seen him really give it to some people and really be a good adversary against arguably the pound for pound number one heavyweight. You know what I mean? I say pound for pound, I meant arguably the number one heavyweight and one of the top pound for pound fighters in Tyson Fury. So yeah, I think they both have upset potential. Maybe more Wyland, I think he's more dangerous and also trying to change this bit of his life. If he goes and beats Anthony Joshua, his next 2-3 years of fighting is completely different to everything he's experienced before. Where Parker, he's been there, he's been in the big events, he's been in the big profile fights against the big names, won world titles, so he might be looking at this as maybe like one of his swan songs and big event, and of course he believes in himself, but it's probably a different where Wyland's never been there, really. You know what I mean? He's never really gone through the gates, where Parker's been a world champion and fought against some of the biggest names in the world already.
One final one before I let you go on there, Sonny. Joshua Wilder's the fight we want. I heard today, we're hearing today that there's a 2-fight deal planned. March 9th is penciled in. You might be a biased Bret on this question, but Joshua Wilder, who wins?
Yeah, AJ, man, every day. AJ. And I think that fight would be a good one to bring it out of him because he's got the weight advantage, but also Wilder has height. And I like Joshua against people around eyesight, not too much smaller than him. I think he always struggles against people he looks down at. I think he had as an amateur, and I think he probably always will. Just stylistically, I think something that happens, throwing down, and that explains the Uziks, that explains the Ruizes, even the Takan performances. Like, you look at the amateurs, the times he's lost, it was always against like the 5'10" Azar or something. It was never against the giant. So I've always favoured him in giant versus giant fights, and I think Wilder is big enough for that to be, you know, a good fight. And you know, AJ can take a fight and can take a shot, and I feel like when he gets caught is when he really starts getting a bit more dangerous in this day and age. I think that's when he starts letting his hands go a bit more, and I think, yeah, that fight will just open up straight away and will be, you know, a great fight. So yeah.
Sonny, I won't keep you much longer, mate. Appreciate your time as always, and no doubt I'll catch you throughout the week. Thank you, brother.
I'm fine.